Hey everyone, and welcome to Sandra Cruz Unfiltered. I'm Sandra Cruz, and today I want to talk to you about boundaries. Now, boundaries can be set for two very important reasons. First of all, they are the greatest act of self-love. But we'll get to this later. Now, get to the other point. You teach people how to treat you. Let's say that again. You teach people how to treat you. Now, what does that mean? That means that if you have no boundaries, people can treat you however they want, and you just respect it. And they think it's okay. And then they continue to treat you however they see fit. Now, as you set boundaries, you teach people how you do want to be treated and how you don't want to be treated. And that's very important. Now, as we set boundaries, your most favorite word in the world is going to become no. Say it with me. No. No. Nope. Not gonna happen. Nope. Not in a million years. No. All right? Now, practice that because it has to become second nature if you want to set healthy boundaries. Now, what are healthy boundaries? Healthy boundaries are boundaries that we set for our own health and well-being. So let's say you need to set boundaries with yourself. It could be that you're a people pleaser, like most of us are, or used to be at one point or another. And boundaries help us to respect our own health and well-being. So if someone asks us for help and the first response would be, yes, of course, not a problem at all, I'm happy to help. But then at the same time, you're so exhausted from work and you feel like you can't do this and you're just dragging yourself there anyways because you made a commitment. The thing is, you are important too. So treat yourself this way. No one is going to be eternally upset if you just say no. You simply say, I'm sorry, but I can't today. I'm too tired. I have too much on my plate. It's all right. Now, when you start setting those boundaries and saying no, it's going to feel very uncomfortable. Simply because you're so used to saying yes to everything. And then with the same, you say no to yourself each and every time. As you change that, yes, it will be terribly uncomfortable. You will feel so guilty. It's unbelievable. But the more you do it, the more you teach yourself that you are important too. And that's the self-love part. Boundaries is the greatest way of self-love because you tell yourself, I'm important too. What I want matters. When I'm tired, I should be able to just relax. It's totally okay to relax. I don't have to feel guilty. I'm not a machine. I need to relax. So you're setting boundaries not just for other people, but even more so for yourself. And this is something that needs to be practiced. Most of us, especially women, feel guilty when they take time for themselves because we were never taught that we are important. We were taught how to take care of others, and successfully so, with cooking, cleaning, being there for each other, and everything else. But we were always treating ourselves as an afterthought. And that's another part where boundaries come in, where we set time away for ourselves and make it a priority to take care of ourselves. Now, as you start to set boundaries with other people and start saying no, or not allowing them to treat you in a certain way, talk to you in certain ways, or behave a certain way around you, they will push through your boundaries time and time again. They will ignore them. They will disrespect them because they're not used to boundaries. They're not used to saying no, which means you have to stick to them. If someone, for example, keeps on talking down on you, it makes you feel like this small. And all of a sudden, this doesn't work for you anymore. You have to speak up. You have to say, wait a minute, don't talk to me like that. I don't deserve to be treated this way. You have to be assertive and you have to say, stop, no more. Of course, they then will probably explode and be completely triggered because you call them out on their behavior. That's totally okay. That's their issue, not yours. So setting healthy boundaries is very important. Now, we can set boundaries from two different mindsets. We can set boundaries from a traumatized mindset, and we can set boundaries from an enlightened mindset, which means we have healed our trauma. Now, boundaries set during while we're still traumatized means that we use them to protect ourselves, to shield ourselves. So, for example, we set boundaries without even realizing what we're doing. Those boundaries usually hinder us from really living our lives because we constrict ourselves. We don't allow anyone close, which is only natural. But at the same time, it stops us from allowing someone who could really help us heal, help us change into our lives. So when you're still dealing with trauma, think about what boundaries you're setting for yourself and ask yourself if they're really necessary. Now, when we set boundaries during our healing process, while we are healing our trauma and stepping out of our comfort zone to grow and elevate ourselves, those boundaries come almost natural because at some point you get to a point where you say, okay, this just doesn't work for me anymore because you've outgrown this part of who you used to be. So the more you heal, the more you change, the happier you become, and the more you realize what is not okay. So let's say a family member who has always asked you for help but never gave any in return, who always expected you to be there and drive them all over town all the time, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, wait a minute, that just doesn't work for me anymore. Now you have to speak up. It doesn't mean you have to yell at them and put them in their corner, but you have to say, no, I'm happy to help you, but on my terms. Set new rules, set boundaries. Now, how does that feel? For many of my clients that I work with on boundaries, at the beginning, it's very intimidating. They're fighting me tooth and nail. But the more we work through all the limiting beliefs, all the conditioned behavior, they start to set their boundaries and they realize how good it makes them feel, how in control it makes them feel, how respected it makes them feel, respect from themselves. They realize that they have completely neglected themselves. And now, as they set boundaries, they realize, whoa, what I want is important too. So boundaries is so important. Now, I know I was rambling a little bit. This has been my first video for the past almost 2 years. But I do hope you really got something from it, that you think about boundaries and start setting them. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm happy to walk you through it. Before I end this video, I wanted to tell you one more thing. Trauma is not a life sentence. You have the power within you to heal. Bye.